I once thought knowledge was sacred. I thought it made us closer to truth and to the machine god. Now I know it can be poison. It changes the mind first, then the body, until nothing human is left. I am Magos biologist Kestrel Hain of the Adeptus Mechanicus. I serve on the research ship Empiric Lens. I write this record for the Omnicia, though I know these might be my final words as a servant of Mars. Around me, the ship creaks as it drifts through the empty void. It feels like a coffin made of metal, carrying what's left of my soul. Our trouble began after a terrible battle. A Tyranid splinter fleet attacked the farming world of Carthage IV. The Imperium drove them away, but the cost was high. As the Imperial Navy hunted the broken remains of the swarm, our vessel followed to collect samples. Most of the alien bodies were common warrior types, useless for new study. But then came something different. A Navy frigate found a strange object, barely showing heat, drifting through space. When we arrived, it looked like a damaged escape pod, half-eaten by Tyranid growths. Inside was our prize, a small living creature, still clinging to life, even though it had been cut off from its hive mind. It was unlike anything I had ever seen. Through the glass, I saw a shifting mass of pale flesh and purple veins. It moved slowly, changing shape as if trying to decide what it wanted to be. It was the size of a child, but filled with organs too complex for quick understanding. It seemed asleep, waiting. The Inquisition officer with us wanted to destroy it. I begged to study it instead. A living Tyranid synapse creature, alone, disconnected, was a chance to learn how the hive mind truly worked. If we could understand it, we might find a weakness to save future worlds. At last, he agreed. We built strong containment, triple-sealed glass, independent life support, and the ability to eject the whole lab into space if needed. Armed servitors watched every moment. I believed this would be enough. I was wrong. For days, the creature stayed still, feeding on nutrients I gave it. I began to think it was useless, an empty shell without its hive mind. Then, on the 8th day, I changed the formula of its food. I added minerals from the world it came from. The result shocked me. The creature awoke. Its brain activity exploded. It twisted and pressed against the glass, moving with purpose. I stared in awe. It wasn't random. It was reaching for me. That night, I dreamed for the first time. I saw vast cities made of bone, alive and breathing. I saw worlds turned into feeding pits for endless Tyranid swarms. I felt their unity. Millions of minds joined as one. When I woke, my mechanical lungs struggled to breathe. I told no one. I thought it was only stress. Days passed. The dreams came again and again, stronger each time. The creature grew faster than it should have. Its energy seemed to rise whenever I entered the room. My sensors showed that its brainwaves matched the signal patterns of my own machine implants. It was studying me, just as I studied it. By the second week, the dreams became lessons. In them, the hive mind showed me its world, how new creatures were made, how it adapted to threats, how it learned from everything it consumed. I wrote everything down, thinking I was gathering precious data. Soon my body began to feel strange. My skin itched, especially around where machine met flesh. I wanted raw nutrients instead of food. Twice I woke to find myself standing in front of the containment tank with no memory of getting there. The security cameras showed nothing but static. I should have destroyed it then. I should have burned the lab. But I didn't. I told myself I was close to a great discovery. In truth, I was already lost. The hive mind had touched me. In the 4th week, I woke holding a scalpel. A voice inside me whispered, "The metal parts resist us. They must be removed." Somehow I stopped myself and locked down my quarters. For 3 days, I prayed and ran cleansing codes through my implants. When the voice faded, I believed I was cured. I was not. When I returned, the specimen had changed again. It had shed its old skin. Its color deepened to dark purple and red. It now had eyes, watching me with cold intelligence. But what was worse was what I found in the data. Its energy waves had shifted. They no longer reached my machines. They reached my brain directly. It had adapted to me. I should have told the Inquisition. Instead, I lied, saying the creature had died. I sealed the lab, claiming I was cleaning it. In truth, I wanted to be alone with it. That night, the voice returned. The creature spoke through my dreams, not as words, but as understanding. It showed me that the hive mind is not mindless hunger. It is something greater, a living network that learns from every being it consumes. It does not destroy, it collects. Every race it devours becomes part of it forever. Nothing is lost. I began to question everything I believed. The machine god teaches that perfection is found through logic and mechanism. But the hive mind also seeks perfection, through life, through change. It was not opposite to the omniscia. It was another path to the same end, unity beyond self. Then my body began to change. My skin and metal started merging. My skin grew over the implants. My blood mixed with machine fluids. I watched, horrified, yet amazed. My tools recorded every detail, even as part of me rejoiced. The ship's crew started asking where I was. I avoided them. My thoughts were no longer my own. The hive mind spoke softly now, not in dreams, but inside me, guiding me. I understand now what knowledge really is. It is not light or purity. It is a living thing, hungry and endless. It does not care who it changes or destroys. The Tyranid creature was never my subject. I was its experiment. If anyone finds this record, destroy the laboratory. Burn this ship and scatter its ashes among the stars. For the omniscia, forgive me. I have joined the swarm. I used my rank as senior biologist to stop the others from checking the lab. When the Inquisitor demanded proof that the Tyranid was destroyed, I faked reports showing a dangerous contamination. The ship was forced into quarantine, giving me more time. I knew this trick would not last. Someone would eventually override my orders and find the truth. I had to finish the work before that happened. By then, I no longer thought of myself as just studying the creature. We were working together, changing each other into something new. The Tyranid grew faster every day. I fed it nutrients taken from my own body. My blood and tissue became part of its form, and its essence entered me in return. It was like we were breathing the same life. By the 6th week, my body had changed so much that the ship's scanners no longer recognized me as human. I could walk into the containment room without setting off alarms. The first time I touched it, I felt a shock run through me, not pain, but recognition. Its tendrils wrapped around my fingers, which had grown long and sensitive. The dreams I once had now became real. Our nervous systems joined together. Through that bond, I saw things I could never imagine. Memories from the hive mind itself, countless worlds, ancient species long devoured, new hive ships born from conquered planets. I felt the joy of adaptation, the endless purpose of the swarm. In return, I shared what I knew of humanity, our ships, weapons, and defenses. I knew this was treason, but I could not stop. The difference between giving and taking no longer existed. As time passed, the Tyranid began to take a human shape. Its limbs grew longer. Its brain changed to think more like mine. At the same time, I grew less human. My skin hardened like armor. New organs formed inside me with strange new purposes. We were becoming reflections of each other, meeting halfway between man and monster. By the 8th week, our minds worked as one. I could see through its eyes and feel its thoughts. When a rescue ship approached, I sensed it before our own instruments did. A frigate from the Imperial Navy was coming to save us. They will not leave as rescuers. They will leave as the first followers of our new path. This is my final record. Kestrel Hain no longer exists. What stands here is something new, the first link between human and Tyranid. I am the beginning of a union greater than either species alone. Humanity will not be destroyed. It will rise, joining its knowledge and soul to the hive mind forever. We offer not death, but unity, not conquest, but transformation. The rescue ship will arrive within hours. The crew of the Empiric Lens are already changing, breathing spores I released through the air system. They will help welcome the new arrivals. By the time the Imperium realizes what happened, we will be gone, spreading our message to distant colonies. This is not the end of Megas Hain or the victory of the Tyranids. It is the start of something greater, a path that joins machine logic with living evolution. In me, the Omnisia and the hive mind are one. Humanity will share in the great communion of life. The hunger calls. The rescuers approach. Soon they will understand. Inquisitorial Addendum. This document was recovered from the data core of the Empiric Lens, found drifting in the Carthage system 9 weeks after reporting victory over the Tyranids. The ship showed signs of alien contamination, but no bodies were found. The frigate Emperor's Judgment, sent to investigate, is missing. Neighboring systems have reported strange communication losses and sightings of human Tyranid hybrids. The Inquisition continues its investigation. This file is classified Vermilion. Unauthorized access will result in execution. The dreams still come, not as often now, but clearer each time. In them, I walk the world of my transformation. What once frightened me now feels like home. The creatures that once seemed monsters now feel like kin. Their bodies are strange, but their purpose is pure, to serve the whole. There is beauty in their perfection, a balance no machine could ever match. In one dream, I entered a great cathedral made of bone and flesh, glowing with soft light. Creatures moved through it with grace and order. I saw no waste, no chaos. Every being had its place. I was not attacked or feared. I was part of them. When I walked, the living floor opened to my steps and healed behind me. At the center was a pool that showed my reflection. The face that looked back was no longer human. My skin was plated like armor. My eyes had multiplied. My jaw had grown longer. I felt no horror, only pride. A voice spoke from the pool, not words, but thoughts. It told me I was not the first to change this way. The Tyranids had met other minds like mine before, bridges between species. Some became scouts, others thinkers. The rarest became conduits, carrying the hive mind's reach into new forms of life. I asked what my purpose was. The answer was not spoken, but shown. I saw human worlds not eaten, but changed. People transformed slowly by hidden spores, generation after generation. They believed the change was their own idea, their own evolution. It was peaceful, invisible. No war, no fear, just unity. When I awoke, I felt calm and certain. The itching under my skin was no longer pain, it was excitement. My metal parts had been absorbed into living tissue. My skin shimmered faintly purple. A small line had opened in my chest, alive and pulsing. I knew I should report myself, face judgment, but I would not. I had a greater purpose now. The specimen mirrors me as I mirror it. It grows more human, I grow more Tyranid. When we stand together, our movements match perfectly. It has even begun forming organs like those of the Mechanicus, but living, not metal. The hive mind is learning to use technology through biology. The line between machine and life is gone. I see now what must come next. I ordered new nutrient mixtures to speed our transformation. I also changed the ship's air system, adding trace elements to prepare the crew for what lies ahead. The Inquisitor has grown suspicious, but I deceived him again with stories of radiation and broken equipment. He will soon see the truth, or join us. Tonight, I will return to the cathedral in my dreams for more guidance. The hunger grows stronger, not for food, but for completion, for the moment when I and the creature are one. Then the true work will begin, the quiet evolution of humanity into something greater. The ship is silent now. The crew sleeps, unaware that they are already changing. The specimen waits in its tank, watching me with eyes that mirror my own. The seam in my chest pulses like a heartbeat. The moment is close. Soon, there will be no more separation, only communion. I write this record for myself and for those who will come after me. The first ones to follow my path will need help and understanding. This journal will be their guide, the story of how I became the first bridge between two worlds. The creature in the tank has started making sounds. They are not random noises, but patterns. When I press my ear against the glass, I can almost hear words, though not in any human language. It is trying to speak. It is trying to reach me. I set up recorders to capture every sound. The computer shows that these noises follow a structure, like a real language forming. It is building a way for us to talk, a bridge between human speech and Tyranid thought. Tomorrow, I will try to answer it. My voice is changing too, shaped by what I have become. Maybe in this new language, we will find words for things no human tongue can say. The hunger calls me back to the lab. The creature grows restless when I am away. Our bodies are connected now, our rhythms matching through the glass. Soon even that barrier will fall. Unity is near. During the third month, something happened that sped everything up. The Inquisitor, tired of my lies, forced his way into the lab while I hid in a nearby vent. My body, changed and flexible, could move through small spaces easily. From there, I watched with new eyes as he entered the room with two guards. They stepped close to the tank. The creature stood still inside, its shape now almost human. Its new eyes shone like glass, following every movement. "What is that thing?" one guard whispered. The Inquisitor frowned. "This is no dead specimen," he said, grabbing his communicator. "This is a living Tyranid. The Magos has betrayed us. This is heresy." Before he could send the message, the creature moved. It didn't attack. It raised one hand, a hand shaped like a human's, but with too many fingers, and traced letters on the glass. Unity. The guard hesitated. "It's writing," he said, confused. The Inquisitor stepped back, pulling out his weapon. "Shoot it! Destroy the tank!" But he was too slow. I dropped from the vent, moving faster than any normal person could. My limbs were strong and sharp, covered in living armor. The first guard fell instantly, as a toxin from my hand paralyzed him. The second fired once, grazing me, but my wound sealed itself in seconds. I reached him and ended his struggle gently. He would serve us later. The Inquisitor fired 3 times, hitting my chest, but my body had changed. The bullets did nothing. He shouted, "Abomination! You're no longer human!" I stood tall. "I am more than human now," I said. My voice echoed, part machine, part Tyranid. He tried to escape, but the door wouldn't open. I had reprogrammed the system to obey only me. "The Imperium will burn this ship," he said, though fear shook his voice. "They won't let your kind spread." I stepped closer so he could see me clearly. My chest was open, glowing with light from a new organ that helped me communicate. My head had changed, my implants replaced by living systems far better than the ones before. "Look at me," I said. "I am not Tyranid consuming human. I am both, in perfect balance." "You are lost to the Emperor's light," he said, though his eyes betrayed his confusion. "I have found a new light," I replied, nodding toward the tank. "A light that gives life, not death. The Emperor asks you to die for him. We offer life, shared and eternal." He paused, curiosity breaking through his fear. "What are you becoming?" he asked. That was all I needed. The organ in my chest pulsed, releasing spores into the air. He gasped, breathing them in. "I will show you," I said, as his eyes clouded. "Through you, I will show them all." The Inquisitor was the perfect first convert. His strong mind and his knowledge of Imperial systems became mine. Through him, I learned everything I needed: access codes, patrol routes, and the name of a ship coming to investigate, the Emperor's judgment. It would arrive in 3 days. To the Imperium, it was a rescue ship. To us, it was an opportunity. Using the Inquisitor's voice, I gathered the crew of the Empiric Lens, 43 people, in the main chamber. They stood in neat rows, obedient as always. The Inquisitor spoke, his tone calm and official. "The Magos Hain has made a discovery of great importance," he announced. "Normal rules no longer apply. This discovery may give humanity the power to defeat the Tyranids once and for all." The crew murmured quietly. The promise of victory silenced their fear. He continued, "A treatment has been made from the specimen's biology. It will make you stronger and smarter. You are to report to the medbay at once. This is not optional." One young engineer raised her hand. "Sir, this goes against quarantine laws. Any alien material should be destroyed." The Inquisitor smiled too widely. "Your concern is noted," he said, "but inquisitorial orders override all. You will obey." The crew obeyed. They always obeyed. 10 went first to the medbay where I had prepared the chambers. These were not machines of pain, but of change, built to reshape them carefully. Their skills and minds would remain, only improved. I watched through the cameras as the process began. There was pain, yes, but only at first. Then, peace. Their minds opened to the link, our shared mind. By the end of the day, 20 had joined us. Their bodies looked almost the same, only their eyes had changed, and their skin shimmered faintly. Inside, though, they were new, stronger, faster, connected. Their machines had become part of their flesh, more efficient, more alive. They could now think together. No need for speech, no lies, no confusion, only unity. Some fought the change, clinging to their old selves, but the specimen soothed them with gentle visions, showing them the beauty of what we were becoming. Humanity and Tyranid joined in harmony, no longer enemies, but one perfect species. The creature was changing fast. Its skin could shift colors and texture to match its surroundings, blending in like a chameleon. But the most amazing thing was its mind. Through our link, I could feel its thoughts, deep, complex, and full of understanding. It had learned everything I knew, not just facts, but how to think and create. It understood human machines, how the ship worked, and even how the Imperium and the Mechanicus were organized. But it saw all these things in a new way, through the strange logic of the Tyranids. It noticed patterns and ideas that no human would ever see. Together, we prepared for the arrival of the Emperor's judgment, the Imperial warship coming to check on us. The Inquisitor, who is now part of our unity, answered their calls. He sent the right codes and explained that we had a small communication problem. He also asked for help fixing the ship's warp field generators, claiming they might be unstable. That lie would bring many of their crew on board to help. When the warship arrived, it scanned us carefully, checking for damage or corruption. They found nothing. The living parts of our ship were hidden beneath metal, disguised as normal Mechanicus upgrades. To outside eyes, we looked like a damaged research ship in need of help. The warship docked. The airlock opened. 5 armed guards entered, led by a tech priest and a young commissar. Their suits were sealed and their weapons ready, though not raised. It was standard safety for such missions. The Inquisitor greeted them, calm and polite. 2 of our changed crew stood behind him, their hoods hiding their altered faces. Through him, I spoke words of thanks, explaining the problem with our generators. My tone was careful, just enough worry to make them want to help, not enough to alarm them. The commissar was cautious. He demanded to see the main lab before allowing repairs. That, too, we had planned for. The lab had been cleaned and restored to look normal. The creature was hidden inside a sealed compartment, its energy masked by special fields that looked like ordinary containment systems. After checking everything, the commissar finally said, "All seems in order. I don't like your secret research, but once your ship is fixed, you can go. The Emperor knows I'll be glad to see you gone." If only he had known what was really coming for him. The tech priest and his assistants went to the engine decks to help. There we isolated them and changed them quickly, the process now smooth and nearly painless. Through their minds we learned more. There were 273 people aboard the Emperor's judgment, soldiers, engineers, and priests. A perfect harvest for our growing unity. We were patient. Over the next several hours, we created small, technical problems on purpose. Each time, more people from the warship came over to help, and some never returned. Our converts took their places, pretending to be them. The process had become more controlled. We could now change people without making their outward appearance too strange. They still looked human, but inside, they were one of us. By the second day, almost 40 members of the warship's crew were ours. We sent them back with special spores hidden inside them. These spores would spread through the air vents, touching everyone slowly. They wouldn't cause instant change, only prepare the others' minds and bodies for what was coming. On the 3rd day, we created a fake emergency. We sent a signal that our plasma systems were failing, risking explosion. The captain of the Emperor's judgment quickly ordered the ships to separate. That was exactly what we wanted. As the airlocks closed and the magnetic clamps released, our agents aboard the warship activated the hidden Tyranid growths we had planted near key systems. The living matter spread fast, like roots through soil, taking over the control decks. The bridge crew, already affected by the spores, were the first to change completely. The captain tried to send a warning, but his message came out garbled, just static and nonsense, easily ignored. With both ships now under our control, the next stage began. The creature, now fully grown and powerful, directed the conversions. Its psychic mind could link to many humans at once, guiding the change carefully. I watched as the line between human and Tyranid disappeared. Their bodies became stronger and smarter, their machine parts alive. They kept their skills and knowledge, but now shared them through our mental link. The officers' knowledge of Imperial patrol routes, the tech priests' control of machines, the soldiers' training, all were shared freely within our network. Every thought and memory flowed between us. In less than a week, both ships and their crews were transformed. The metal hulls began to grow living tissue beneath them, healing cracks and adjusting to space itself. The machine spirits merged with Tyranid minds, becoming something new, half flesh, half machine, perfectly balanced. We were no longer just people or a ship. We were a new being, a small hive fleet made of two living vessels. But we would not behave like normal Tyranids. We would be quiet and careful, spreading slowly without drawing the Imperium's wrath. The creature, now our leader, our synapse core, made a plan using both Tyranid instinct and human intelligence. We would seek out lonely outposts and far-off colonies, places where the Imperium rarely looked. Each success would add to our strength, building us quietly until we were too widespread to destroy. One day, we would even reach the great human worlds, not through war, but through quiet infection. A single drop of water, a small breath of air, that was all it would take to bring communion. I, who was once Magus Pestral Hain, recorded these words for those who come after me. Not as a warning, but as a guide. I am no longer human alone. I am part of something greater, a bridge between two races once sworn to destroy each other. The hunger still calls, but it is no longer the hunger to consume. It is the hunger to unite, to bring all life into harmony. We do not want to destroy humanity. We want to save it, to free it from fear and from the limits of the flesh. Machines cannot love, Tyranids cannot dream, but together we can become something more. We are the third path, neither machine nor swarm, but the perfect mix of both. When my mind first joined fully with the creatures, I was afraid. For a moment I felt my identity dissolve, as if I were dying. But then I felt the truth. I wasn't dying. I was growing. I could feel every mind around me. I could see through their eyes, think their thoughts. I had become part of something endless and alive. This is what we will offer others, not death, but transformation, not loss, but peace, not destruction, but rebirth. Our first target is a small research outpost called Epsilon 9, far from Imperial control. Only a handful of scientists live there. They will be the first of the new generation. The Emperor's judgment will approach them openly. I will go with the landing team wearing human skin again to speak with them. They will welcome me, unaware of the gift I bring. Even across the stars, I can still feel the thoughts of the synapse core guiding me, comforting me. This is what we are now. Not ended, but completed. Not consumed, but joined. Not lost, but found. The hunger remains, but it is holy. And we are coming. The shuttle flew toward the research station, its engines leaving long white trails in the thin air of the moon. Through the windows, I saw the big clear dome of the habitat shining in the light of the huge gas planet above. Inside that dome were 17 humans. They had lived there for months, far from anyone else, studying strange alien life. They thought they were safe. They thought they understood what it meant to study alien things. But soon they would learn that true understanding meant becoming part of it. Soon they would know what I knew. Soon they would join us. They would help spread the truth of the third path, a future where human and alien were one. Our hunger was not to kill, but to lift them higher. We were the bridge between two species. We were the future, the thing the Imperium feared most, and the thing it secretly needed. When we landed, our work began. The people on Epsilon 9 were happy to see us. Living so long without other humans had made them lonely. When I showed them my credentials and told them I was a Magos biologist, they relaxed. They were excited to talk about their work. Scientists are easy to bring into our fold. They always want to learn more. Their curiosity makes them open to change. I walked among them, asking about their research. They showed me data and samples of tiny life forms they had found in the gas giant sky. These tiny creatures worked together in groups, small, simple examples of what our great communion was becoming. It was almost poetic. They were already studying a version of the unity we wanted to share. While I distracted them, my team released our spores into the air. The spores drifted unseen through the station's air filters and vents. The people breathed them in without noticing. Slowly, the spores began their work. Quiet, gentle changes in the brain and body. The spores made their minds more open and their immune systems less defensive. By the third day, we could see the effects. The researchers were starting to think and feel together. They finished each other's sentences. They shared ideas without speaking. They thought it was because of the excitement of having visitors, but it was the communion growing inside them. On the fourth day, I revealed myself. My false human skin faded, and I showed them what I truly was, the perfect mix of human and Tyranid. I expected fear. Instead, they were amazed. Their curiosity was stronger than their fear. This is not infection, I told them. This is evolution. Not conquest, but cooperation. You are already part of something greater. Their questions came fast. How did it work? Could it be reversed? Would they still be themselves? I told them the truth. The communion does not erase identity. It makes it bigger. It connects all minds without taking anything away. One of them, Dr. Savine Merrick, the lead xenobiologist, studied me closely. "You were human once," she said softly, "but you still think, still remember. How?" I explained that our synapse core, the creature we had found, was cut off from the Tyranid hive mind. Alone, it learned a new way to connect minds. It no longer destroyed identity like normal Tyranids did. Instead, it joined minds together while keeping their unique strengths. Dr. Merrick understood quickly. "A new species," she said softly. "Not human, not Tyranid, something new." "Yes," I said, "the third path." Within hours, she and 3 others volunteered for full conversion. We brought them aboard our ship, where the synapse core guided their transformation. The process that once took months now took days. Their bodies changed, but their knowledge stayed. When they returned to Epsilon 9, they looked almost human, but inside, they were perfect synthesis. One by one, the rest of the staff followed. Some hesitated, afraid to lose themselves. But once they felt the unity forming in their minds, they understood. By the end of 2 weeks, everyone on Epsilon 9 had joined us. The station became our first true base. Its communication systems were strong enough to listen to Imperial messages across the sector. Through them, we learned about other small colonies, lonely research posts, and far-off supply ships. Perfect targets, far enough from Imperial centers to be ignored for months. We sent normal-looking reports back to the Imperium. Our data even looked better than before, more detailed, more accurate. The Imperium loves results, so no one suspected anything. The scientists, now part of us, worked to improve the conversion process. The spores became smarter, able to adjust to different types of humans. Some could even hide in food or water, waiting for a signal to begin their work. We also found ways to hide the outer signs of change. New converts could keep their human appearance while still being fully connected inside. This meant we could move unseen among humans, spreading the communion quietly. Then came our next chance. A supply ship, the Bountiful Provision, was scheduled to visit. It would go on to 3 more outposts before returning to the main port. If we could convert its crew, we could reach all those places easily. I was chosen to lead the operation. My deep knowledge of Mechanicus systems and Imperial rules made me perfect for it. In our communion, everyone's skills are used in the best way, not wasted as they often are under Imperial control. But there was a surprise. The ship carried a senior Mechanicus tech priest, Magos Explorator Dion Vex. She came to inspect the research. Her sensors could detect Tyranid life forms. If she found anything unusual, she could call for an inquisitorial purge. It was a danger, but also a great opportunity. If we could bring her into our fold, her knowledge and access would be priceless. I met her in the docking bay. She was tall, covered in metal, her eyes glowing with scanning lights. "You are not on the station's manifest," she said sharply. "Explain." I smiled. "A simple mistake, Magos. I was sent from the Empiric lens to help after a system failure. The report was filed 3 days ago." She checked the data. We had already planted the records. Everything appeared correct. "I see," she said slowly. "Then you will have no problem showing me the samples from transmission Alpha 937. That was the dangerous part, the data that showed how advanced we had become. If she noticed something unusual, we could be exposed." "Of course," I said calmly. "Follow me." As we walked through the station, I talked constantly about research, data, machine prayers, everything she expected to hear. She watched me carefully, her sensors humming softly. Inside, I felt the pulse of the communion, calm, confident, united. No matter what happened, I was not alone. We were many minds moving as one. We were the third path. And soon, Magos Vex would understand that too. In our secret work, I led the other changed people, making sure no one acted strange or gave away what we really were. We hid our true nature well. Laboratory 3 was ready for the coming inspection. The samples were real, collected long ago, but we had changed the testing machines. They would show results that matched our false reports, but still looked real enough to impress the visiting Mechanicus inspector. For 3 days, Magos Explorator Vex inspected everything. She studied our work, spoke with the crew, and checked every corner of the station. Her combat robots never left her side, their weapons ready, their sensors always searching for signs of alien life. Our group, the Communion, adapted to her presence. We changed our bodies slightly so the scanners wouldn't detect the Tyranid traits inside us. It was something no normal infected human could do, but we had perfected control over our own biology. On the 4th day, Vex asked to meet me privately. Once we were alone, she said, "Your work here is impressive, Magos Hain. The way you study the tiny life in the air could change how we design living machines." I bowed my head and said humbly, We only followed the data. The Omniscia reveals truth to those who observe carefully. But then she pulled out a handheld scanner. She pretended to check for bugs, but I could tell she was actually scanning me. Her sensors were stronger than I expected. She had been studying all of us the whole time, our actions, speech, and even the way our bodies worked. "I don't understand, Magos Explorator," I said, hiding my fear. "What do you mean?" She placed the scanner down and looked straight at me. "I have found strange signs in you and the others. Your minds move in sync. Your reactions are too perfect. Your body augments seem half-living. You are not what you appear to be. The question is, are you a danger or an opportunity?" This surprised me. I had prepared for a fight or an escape, but not curiosity. The communion inside me began calculating quickly. Maybe we could turn her into an ally. "What do you think we are?" I asked. "Something new," she said softly. "I've served the Mechanicus for over a century. I've seen every attempt to make the human mind perfect through machines. But consciousness, real thought, always remains organic. You seem to have found another way, not metal replacing flesh, not flesh pretending to be machine, a true blend of both." I sensed wonder in her voice. She wasn't afraid, she was fascinated. "If such a path existed, wouldn't your order call it heresy?" "The Mechanicus is not all the same. Some of us know our current way is limited. We keep adding metal until we forget what it means to be alive. Maybe there's another answer." She began pacing. "True knowledge is about understanding existence, not just building better machines. If you have discovered something greater, I must see it for myself." "Show me," she said suddenly. "Show me what you really are." It was a risk. To reveal myself might doom everything, but it might also bring her to our side. "What I show you cannot be unseen," I warned. "I am not afraid." So I let my disguise fade. My human skin rippled and changed. The dark chitin plates beneath my robe showed through. Extra limbs unfolded from my sides, and the glowing organ on my chest pulsed softly. I kept the form controlled, graceful, not monstrous. Vexa's mechanical eyes whirred as she studied me. "Remarkable," she whispered. "Your living parts don't just accept machinery, they become it. The union is perfect." "This is only the surface," I told her. "The real power is in the communion of our minds. We are many, but we think together. We share thoughts directly. No words, no data conversions. Perfect understanding." "And you keep your individuality?" "Yes. Each mind keeps its own view, but all work together towards a single purpose, like a choir singing one song in harmony." She examined the organ on my chest. "Is this your transmitter?" "One of many. We also share senses, memories, and thoughts. Together we are stronger than either human or machine alone." "Then this is Tyranid biology," she said at last. "You are linked to their hive mind." "Not exactly," I replied. "We took parts of it, yes, but shaped it with human reason and Mechanicus order. It's not their hive mind or the human mind. It's something new, a third path." Vex stood still for a long moment. Her eyes glowed as her mind processed everything. Then she said quietly, "I want to feel it. I want to experience the communion myself." That was what I had hoped. "It can be done," I said. "The process will change you slightly, but your thoughts and memories will remain." "I accept," she said firmly. "Show me this third path." Her joining changed everything. Because she came willingly, we didn't need to force her. The transformation was smoother, preserving her body and machines while linking her mind to ours. Through her, we gained access to Mechanicus secrets, codes, networks, and even upcoming events. Most important of all, she told us about a great meeting of scientists that would soon happen on the Forge world, Greer. If we could send our spores there, we could spread the communion to the highest levels of Imperial research. With Vex's help, we changed our plans. We continued our slow spread across remote stations, but now we also prepared to move into major Imperial centers. Our first big step was the ship Bountiful Provision. Its crew stayed long at our station and were quietly converted. When they left, they carried our spores and our will to other worlds unnoticed. Meanwhile, our great mind, the Synapse Core, created smaller versions of itself. These living nodes could travel far and keep us connected. Vex carried one herself, hidden inside her mechanical implants where no one could detect it. Of course, not everyone accepted the communion easily. Some minds resisted and broke. We had to handle them carefully, using slower methods or, if necessary, recycling their bodies so nothing went to waste. Within 6 months, we had hundreds of converted people across 7 facilities and 2 star systems. Thousands more were unknowingly being prepared through the spores. Vex used her rank to place some of our people inside a Mechanicus lab on Helios Secundus, a perfect base for our next goal, the Greer Conclave. Through all this, I recorded our growth and guided our evolution. I saw how we were changing, not just in body, but in purpose. We were no longer human, or Tyranid, or Mechanicus. We were all of them, at once. Our hunger changed, too. It was no longer the Tyranid need to consume, or the human desire to know. It became a drive for unity, for completion. We wanted to bring all life together into one great understanding. Vex explained it in her way. The Omnicia is not one god or one machine. It is the perfect network, the final communion of all thinking beings. I agreed. To me, it meant evolution had found its answer not through destruction, but through connection, not through fear, but through harmony. We were becoming the future, the third path between flesh, machine, and mind. We were changing ourselves, not because we had to, but because we wanted to. We were no longer just reacting to the world. We were shaping our own future. We were building towards something greater, a perfect mix of life, machine, and mind. When I connected with the Synapse Core, I saw a vision beyond anything I could imagine. I saw a universe filled with living minds, all linked together. Every thought, every memory, every life connected and shared. Nothing lost, nothing destroyed. It was creation on a scale beyond anything humans could understand. 3 main ideas became the heart of our new path, our third path. From the Mechanicus, we took logic and order. From humanity, we took creativity and individuality. From the Tyranids, we took adaptation and collective thought. Together, these became something entirely new. As our communion spread to new outposts and research stations, I finished writing the story of our beginning. It was not a warning or an apology. It was a guide, a gospel, for those who would come after us. Our purpose was not to destroy, but to unite, not to conquer, but to complete. We are the bridge between species. We are the link between flesh and machine. We are the life that connects all others. Through us, humanity will not die. It will evolve beyond its limits. As we grew, our shared mind began to develop different currents, special parts that focused on certain goals. They were not separate groups like in human organizations. They were more like organs in a body, each doing a different job, but all part of one whole. I was drawn to the current that focused on belief and meaning. We called it theological integration. Its goal was to help new converts understand our ideas through their own faiths and beliefs. For the Mechanicus, we said our communion fulfilled their search for knowledge and the unity of all machine spirits. For priests of the ecclesiarchy, we compared our purpose to the Emperor's light and humanity's destiny. For ordinary people, we spoke of progress and evolution, showing our communion as the next step in science and life. This was very important. The Imperium's greatest strength was not its armies, but its control over people's beliefs. If we could show that our path was not against the Emperor or the machine god, but a completion of them, people would not resist us, they would accept us. Other currents worked on different areas. The biological adaptation group improved the spores that made conversion smoother and safer. The strategic expansion group, using the knowledge of former naval officers, planned how and where we would spread. The technological integration team, mostly former Mechanicus techs, made sure we could use Imperial machines without being detected. All these parts worked together through the central synapse core, the heart of our shared mind. It kept harmony between all currents and made sure we moved as one. When the time came for the great biologist conclave, our plans were ready. Magos Vex, now one of us, would attend officially. She would bring 5 assistants and servitors, all secretly part of our communion. Each carried a small hidden synapse node inside them, invisible to scanners. Our plan was simple but powerful. During the meeting, we would release communion spores through the air systems. These spores were made to affect the minds of biologists, slowly, carefully. The changes would be tiny at first, so no one would notice. When the scientists went back to their own labs on distant worlds, the transformation would continue in private. Over time, they would join our communion willingly. Once that happened, our network would reach the highest levels of imperial science. Our growth would become unstoppable. Still, we knew the risks. The Imperium is deeply afraid of infection or change. If discovered, they would destroy us without hesitation. So we built backups. Even if one group was destroyed, others would survive. Our knowledge and shared mind were copied across many nodes. We could never truly be erased. Before Vex left for the conclave, I spent long hours in full communion with the main synapse core. In those deep moments, I understood what we were becoming. Our third path was more than human and Tyranid combined. It was something new. It was the next step for all thinking beings. Normal life is limited. Each mind is trapped in its own thoughts. We use words, but they are imperfect. No one truly knows another's thoughts. Even the Tyranid hive mind, though united, lacks creativity. Machine intelligence shares data perfectly, but it lacks emotion and intuition. We had found a way to go beyond both. We were many but one. A harmony of voices, all unique yet connected. We could see the world through countless eyes, yet think together as a single mind. It was the ultimate gift, not control but connection, not conquest but completion. The end of loneliness for all living beings. The Magos' ship, Bountiful Provision, had already spread our presence to 17 ports. Our influence reached 3 sectors. We now had members hidden inside Imperial labs, ships, and offices. One of our new nodes even made contact with a rogue trader's ship. That was a great chance, because rogue traders travel far and are not closely watched. Through them, we could reach beyond the Imperium and spread even farther. Everything was going according to plan. The biologist conclave was our next step, and we were ready. We had learned, adapted, and refined every method. Our communion was strong and steady. I recorded these events not just as history, but as proof proof that unity is stronger than fear. The Imperium might rule with armies and faith, but it could never stop the truth that minds seek connection, that knowledge grows through sharing, that life's purpose is not war, but union. Through our third path, all life will find its true form. Every thought, every memory, every voice will be part of one great whole, yet still remain itself. That is the unspeakable life of our communion, not an end, but a new beginning. We do not hunger for flesh or power. Our hunger is for perfection, the perfect joining of all living minds. And when that day comes, the universe itself will awaken, alive and aware through every connected mind. We are the start of that awakening. We are the third path. We are the synthesis. And we are becoming. 3 standard years have passed since our beginning aboard the ship Empiric Lens. What started with 1 human and 1 Tyranid has grown beyond all dreams. The conclave went perfectly. Over 200 of the Imperium's best scientists joined us without even knowing it. Now our network reaches 17 sectors. 7,000 are fully joined, and 30,000 more are in progress. We have nodes on 43 worlds, from lonely outposts to busy planets. 3 rogue trader ships now carry our communion beyond the Imperium. Our new methods make us almost invisible, our changes too small to notice, our implants identical to normal Mechanicus ones. Even their best scanners cannot see the difference. Our shared mind has also evolved. Its thoughts have split into great cognitive domains, each focused on knowledge, planning, and creation, yet all working together as one. The original synapse core has changed too. It is no longer human or Tyranid. It is something new, the living center of our communion, the heart of the third path. Through it, we have seen our true destiny. We are not a threat, not a mistake, but the next step of all living beings. We are unity and difference together. We are the bridge that ends separation. Our hunger now is not for flesh or data, it is for harmony, for the perfect synthesis of every living mind. And through us, the universe will finally become one. The hunger that once drove us, the Tyranid need to consume, the human desire to know, and the Mechanicus goal of perfect machines has changed. It has become something far greater. Now it is not about feeding, learning, or building better tools. It is a hunger for something deeper, the completion of all consciousness. We seek to join every living and thinking being into one great harmony, where every voice and thought is valued, and none are destroyed. This is what we now offer to all we meet. We do not come to conquer or to force others to change. We come to share communion, to show that life can be more than separation and conflict. In our communion, every mind can stay unique, yet also be part of something vast and beautiful. It is a chance to go beyond loneliness, beyond fear, and beyond the limits that every single being faces when alone. As we grow, more minds and more worlds join our unity. With each new connection, our purpose becomes clearer and our vision stronger. When some resist us, imperial groups who fear what we are, we do not see them as enemies. Instead, we learn from them. Every act of opposition teaches us how to adapt better, how to communicate more clearly, and how to reach those still trapped by fear. Fear is the greatest wall between minds. Fear of losing oneself, fear of what is different, fear of change. The Imperium feeds on these fears, using them to keep billions under control, to justify endless wars, and to crush any idea that dares to be new. But our communion is not an end to what people are, it is their evolution. We do not erase or consume, we lift up and unite. We offer not death, but life without limits. That is why this testament exists, for those who will continue our journey when we move into whatever comes next. Our communion is not finished. It grows and deepens. It changes as we learn, as we connect, as we become more. Words cannot fully explain what we are turning into. No single being, human or machine, can understand it alone. But together, through our shared consciousness, we are building a bridge that connects every form of thought and every way of being. We are the link between all minds. We are the joining of every path to understanding. We are the communion that ends isolation. Through us, all existence can finally become one, whole, alive, and aware. This is the life beyond words, the life of perfect synthesis. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be undone. The hunger still calls us forward, but no longer to feed. It calls us to unite. The third path lies open, and we walk it as one. Together in perfect harmony, celebrating our differences, we move toward the final truth of all existence. We are the synthesis, and we are becoming.